Some People Laugh, Some People Cry by Srinivasa Rao is a prose poem expressing the poet's surrealistic vision of the world around him. This chaotic world is populated by frustrated people, one-eyed pups, and unfinished sagas. The poem is a picture of modern urban life where everybody is an island in himself and nobody bothers to see what's happening around him. The poem is a series of snapshots of figures of oppressive loneliness. In the first picture, a man walking on the bridge gets the change from his pocket to a beggar, then he gives away his wristwatch to a nurse who happens to pass that way. Next, he throws his coat into the river and, following the coat, he drowns himself in the water. Through this, the poet has presented the image of a chaotic and incoherent urban life. The philanthropist, the beggar, and the nurse have been brought together to demonstrate the absurdity of human actions due to frustration. The man who commits suicide is probably a capitalist who has found no meaning or purpose in life. The next representation is an image of a capitalist who knows all the tricks and tactics of his trade and has made a lot of money. Money grows like plants which yield golden eggs. These eggs lie stuffed up in the lockers of the banks. But there are tears hidden in this money. Just like the yolk that spills out when an egg is broken, so do tears spill out from the broken and frustrated heart of the man. The next is the image of a man who is selling anarchy. This indicates the fact that he supports criminality, lawlessness, theft, and all kinds of illegal measures as a means of earning money. With his long arms, he is searching for something with which to convert and corrupt young minds. The giant lemon he eats once a day is usually found in lakes of blood in young hearts. Anarchy thrives on violence and bloodshed. It is the terrible image of the world rotting in chaos, and the anarchists do their best to spoil young people. The next scene moves to a musician who is singing raga kamboji and playing on a lute. He is skilled at singing different ragas whose music has the power to entertain people and establish harmony in nature. Then there is the picture of a poet applying traditional kajal in his eyes and kumkum on his cheeks. The poet appears to be in a trance-like state, but later his image transforms into a cryptographer decoding secret codes and working for the Air Force. He is said to be directly responsible for the fall of prices in the market. The poet is probably trying to say that art, which gave some hope of peace and joy for man, has turned into a commercial existence, making life frustrating and hopeless. Then there is the sight of a man who seems like a sage, wearing rudraksha beads around his neck and meditating. He is a hypocrite and does not have any religious knowledge beyond that of people breaking coconuts in front of him to get a blessing. It is a typical representation of the Indian society filled with ignorance and superstition, which considers such ordinary men who are mere hypocrites and pose as spiritual leaders. The next image is that of a man who loves only one woman and that woman dies. The poet makes a reference to Bollywood films in its repetitive themes which are boring. The idea of permanent and true love, according to the poet, is just an emotion and cannot be found in real-life situations. Then there is the picture of a man who is hanged for a crime that he has not committed, but refuses to justify himself. This scene represents the state of anarchy, where the individual is defenseless and powerless against injustice. Only his dog mourns for his loss. The unfair judgment of the courts and the plight of the poor people who are made scapegoats is brought to light through several other illustrations. And this represents a society where the weak and defenseless are exploited by the cunning, clever, and powerful people. Finally, the poet represents the picture of frustration, emptiness, and futility of life brought out through the common images of a man running away and another man struggling with life and killing himself. There are several other absurdities depicted by the poet, which he says are endless. Now, these representations made by the poet convey the kind of mindset that people slowly started getting into during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of suicidal thoughts, a lot of frustration, a lot of questions on why do we even exist. And this is aggravated, this is increased, this is elevated by the anarchy in the political system, in the social system, and the mindsets of people.